Have you ever stood at the edge of an opportunity that could change your life, feeling your heart pound with possibility, only to turn away because a voice inside whispered, "You're not good enough"? Have you ever achieved something remarkable, only to feel like a fraud waiting to be exposed? You wake up each morning carrying dreams that feel too big for who you think you are, goals that seem reserved for other people. The confident ones, the naturally gifted ones, the ones who somehow escape the crushing weight of self-doubt that follows you everywhere. But here's what nobody tells you. That fear you feel, that voice that questions your worth, that terror of being found out. It's not your enemy. It's not a sign that you should retreat, play small, or accept a mediocre life. It's actually the compass pointing directly toward your greatest potential. The very thing you fear most is often the exact path to the life you're meant to live. The question is, will you let fear be your prison, or will you transform it into your greatest teacher? Because right now, at this very moment, your fear is trying to tell you something crucial about who you're capable of becoming. Fear has probably been your companion since childhood. Perhaps you remember the moment when you first learned to doubt yourself. Maybe it was when you raised your hand in class with excitement, only to be met with laughter when you got the answer wrong. Or when you proudly showed your artwork to someone who dismissed it with a careless comment. Maybe it was subtler, watching the adults around you play it safe, choosing security over dreams, teaching you through their own fears that reaching too high was dangerous. Slowly, quietly, you learned to make yourself smaller. You learned that standing out meant risking rejection. You discovered that trying and failing felt worse than never trying at all, so you built walls around your potential, convincing yourself that those dreams were unrealistic anyway. You created a comfortable cage of limitations and called it being practical. But here's the truth that fear doesn't want you to know. Every great achievement in human history began with someone who felt exactly like you feel right now, terrified, uncertain, convinced they weren't qualified. The difference wasn't that they lacked fear, it's that they understood something profound about fear's true nature. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a compass. It points directly toward what matters most to you. Think about it. You don't fear failing at things you don't care about. You fear failing at the things that would mean everything to you if you succeeded. That job you're afraid to apply for, that business you're scared to start, that person you're terrified to tell you love them. The intensity of your fear is directly proportional to the importance of what you're avoiding. Next, your fear is actually trying to protect something sacred, your deepest desires, your most authentic self, your greatest potential for contribution to this world. But in trying to protect these treasures, it has locked them away in a vault so secure that even you have forgotten they exist. The question is, are you ready to stop letting fear keep you small and stuck and start letting it be your guide to your greatness? Because the path to your greatness runs directly through the center of everything that scares you most. But before we can transform fear from enemy to ally, we must understand its most insidious disguise, the one that convinces you that you're not who you appear to be. The one that whispers you're a fraud living on borrowed time. Imposter syndrome is fear wearing a mask of sophistication. It's the voice that tells you everyone else knows something you don't, that your successes are just lucky accidents, that any moment now someone will pull back the curtain and reveal that you don't belong here. It's fear disguised as rational thinking, self-doubt masquerading as humility. But here's what's really happening when imposter syndrome strikes. You're actually growing. You're expanding beyond your previous limitations. You're in unfamiliar territory, which means you're exactly where you need to be for transformation to occur. The feeling of being an imposter isn't proof that you don't belong. It's proof that you're brave enough to venture into spaces that challenge who you used to be. It's evidence that you're reaching for something greater than your current identity can comfortably contain. Think about every role you've ever grown into. The first day at a new job, becoming a parent, taking on leadership responsibilities. Didn't you feel like you were pretending to be someone you weren't at first? That feeling wasn't imposter syndrome lying to you. It was your old self recognizing that transformation was underway. The imposters aren't the ones who feel like imposters. The real imposters are those who never challenge themselves enough to feel uncomfortable in their own skin. They're the ones who stay so safely within their comfort zones that they never have to question whether they belong. When you feel like an imposter, you're actually feeling the growing pains of becoming who you're meant to be. Your greatness is trying to emerge, but your old identity is fighting to maintain control. The battle you feel isn't between your true self and some fraudulent version. It's between who you've been and who you're becoming. But how do you navigate this treacherous territory? How do you move forward when every fiber of your being is screaming that you're not qualified, not ready, not enough? Next. The answer lies in understanding the difference between rational fear and primal fear. Rational fear serves a purpose. It keeps you from walking off cliffs or touching hot stoves. But primal fear, the fear that keeps you from pursuing your dreams, is ancient programming that no longer serves your highest good. This primal fear was useful when physical survival depended on staying with the tribe. Being rejected meant death. So our ancestors' brains developed powerful mechanisms to keep them safely within the group. But in today's world, the things that trigger this ancient alarm system, standing out, taking risks, facing potential criticism, are precisely the things required for growth and fulfillment. Your brain hasn't caught up to the fact that rejection won't kill you anymore. It still treats every opportunity to stretch beyond your comfort zone as a mortal threat. No wonder you feel paralyzed when greatness calls your name. But here's the revolutionary insight. You can reprogram your relationship with fear. You can teach your nervous system that growth, not safety, is your highest priority. You can transform fear from a wall that blocks your path into the fuel that powers your journey. The first step is recognizing fear's language. Fear doesn't announce itself with trumpets and fanfare. It whispers. It's subtle. It sounds like reason, like practical advice, like the voice of wisdom. Maybe next year, it says, you need more experience first. What will people think? You should be grateful for what you have. These thoughts are not wise advice. It's fear attempting to stop you from pursuing your greatness. These limiting thoughts might have been playing in your mind since you first dared to dream beyond your circumstances. Learning to recognize fear's voice is the beginning of taking your power back. The second step is reframing what fear means. Instead of interpreting fear as evidence that you should stop, start seeing it as evidence that you're headed in the right direction. The stronger the fear, the more important the growth waiting on the other side. When you feel that familiar tightness in your chest, when your palms get sweaty and your mind starts generating every possible reason why you should retreat, pause and ask yourself, what is this fear trying to protect? Usually you'll discover it's trying to protect something precious, your dreams, your potential, your deepest desires for meaning and contribution. The third step is taking action anyway. Not because you've conquered fear, you may never completely conquer it, but because you've changed your relationship with it. You've stopped needing courage to mean the absence of fear and started understanding that courage is fear walking forward anyway. But what about that nagging voice that insists you're not qualified, not experienced enough, not worthy of the success you seek? How do you handle the imposter syndrome that seems to have evidence on its side? Next, Here's the truth that will set you free. Everyone feels like an imposter sometimes. Every single person who has ever achieved anything meaningful has had moments where they looked around the room and wondered if they belonged there. The difference between those who thrive and those who shrink isn't the absence of these feelings, it's what they do with them. Imposter syndrome feeds on a fundamental lie that everyone else has it figured out while you're just pretending. But here's what neuroscience tells us. Your brain is literally wired to notice what you do not know more than what you do know. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect in reverse. The more competent you become, the more aware you become of what you still don't know. This isn't evidence of your inadequacy. It's evidence of your growth. The most successful people aren't those who never feel like imposters. They're those who feel like imposters and show up anyway. They understand that competence isn't about knowing everything. It's about being willing to learn everything. The fourth step is redefining qualification. You weren't born qualified for anything except breathing and crying. Everything else, walking, talking, reading, loving, creating, you learned by doing it badly first, then better, then well. The qualification to do something new isn't perfection in advance. It's the willingness to begin imperfectly and improve along the way. Before we dive into the fifth and final step, don't forget to download the course in the description to get the full understanding and implementation of all these principles on an even deeper level. Because your greatness starts now. The fifth and final step is embracing your unique perspective. That voice telling you that you don't belong isn't just wrong, it's backwards. Your fresh eyes, your different background, your unique way of seeing problems. These aren't bugs in the system. They're features. They're exactly why you belong in that room, on that team, pursuing that dream. The world doesn't need another carbon copy of what already exists. It needs you, messy, imperfect, still learning you, bringing your authentic voice to the conversation. So the next time imposter syndrome knocks on your door, invite it in because you're not afraid of it. And thank it for trying to keep you safe. Then gently explain that safety isn't the goal anymore. Growth is. Contribution is. Becoming who you were meant to be is. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy. You don't need to know everything to contribute something valuable. You don't need to eliminate all uncertainty to take the next step forward. Next, you just need to be brave enough to be yourself in a world that profits from your self-doubt. You need to trust that the same force that grew you from a single cell into the complex, capable, dreaming person you are today hasn't stopped working. It's still growing you, still pushing you toward your potential, still whispering in your ear, you're ready for the next chapter. So the question isn't whether you're qualified or not. The question is whether you're willing to become qualified along the way. The question isn't whether you belong. The question is whether you're brave enough to take up space and find out. Your dreams don't need your permission to be valid. They need your commitment to make them real. Stop asking if you're worthy of your dreams and start consistently showing up for yourself and take action towards your dreams every day. Even though we've never met, here's what I know about you. You wouldn't have this dream if you didn't have the capacity to achieve it. And if you're watching this video, it's because you're ready to achieve your next level of success and beyond. Now, there is one systematic method that will permanently reprogram your brain's responses and all patterns of self-doubt, fear, self-sabotage, and paralyzing anxiety into success and constantly living your greatness. It's the only approach that creates lasting change rather than temporary motivation. And all of this hidden wisdom is in a comprehensive method using advanced neuroscience and psychology tactics. If you're ready to stop managing imposter syndrome and start eliminating it at its source, I've left the link in the description below. So what's it gonna be? Will you continue to let fear and imposter syndrome write your story? Or will you pick up the pen and write the next chapter yourself? The choice is yours. It always has been, and the time to choose is now.